Hey now, welcome to the Medium channel, where we, as always, bring you the spirituality behind the message in these awakening times. So, what's on the menu for today? Well, it's the new moon tomorrow, so we're going to talk about 6 things that have come up of things that we should know about this new moon through astrology, through numerology, and through channel messages that have come up. And then there's also a couple of spiritual practices that they want to give us for this new moon. And then we'll do a couple of divination cards also for spiritual messages. So new moons are very important. And like every other new moon, we're doing a live stream because of it. Because what happens on the new moon is that, hold on a second. So you don't hear the pings. So what happens on the new moons is that right at the moment of the new moon is the template for the 29-day lunar cycle. So knowing exactly what's going on in the new moon can give you the information and the insight in order to plan your month, in order to plan this time and to make the most use out of it. So that's the reason that it's important. Now, if you know your own astrological chart, that's really helpful because then you can see which one of your personal houses the different aspects are coming in, like where the new moon is in your chart. In mine, it's in the 12th house, for example, in the house of the subconscious. So that's going to be very activated in my life. But whatever the case, that would give you, that would fine tune the information, that would give you more. But what we're sharing now is a good general overview. So I'm talking for a couple of minutes. I just want to give the live people a little bit of time to come in, and then we'll get started. This is not going to be long today. We should be done in 20 minutes, no more than a half hour. So yes, happy Sagittarius season. Let me put my eyes in so I can, oh, hi, I can see. So hi, Christine and Teresa, and happy Sagittarius season to Lauren, and hi, Suzette and Lauren. Hi from Australia. So I'm glad you're here. One of the reasons I'm glad you're here is that because for you, the new moon is on the 24th of November, not the 23rd of November. So that's significant. So if you're born in Asia, or if you're currently in Asia or Australia or New Zealand, actually the 24th, and that means something. I'll talk about that in a second. So welcome, hi Brooke and Cosmic Alchemy Center. Love it. Thank you for stopping in. So if anybody's new and you want to say hi and let us know where in the world you're from, feel free to chime on in and be part of our conversation. By the way, I'm going to start in just a second. For you guys that are part of Spirit Mind family, has anybody been locked out? Because I got an email from somebody that can't get in, and Spirit Mind family is our Patreon group. And by the way, if anybody wants to be part of that, that's where we do a lot of the inner and exclusive stuff and the channeling work. So anyhow, so you guys can text me later. If anybody's getting shut out of Spirit Mind family, please let me know in case we have to deal with them and to get it fixed. Right. So what else was I gonna say? I need water. I just finished up doing 4 readings, so definitely drinking a lot of water right now. All right. Let's see, anything else that I wanted to mention? Yes, there is. I knew there's one other thing. Tomorrow night at 7, Wednesday at 7, on the new moon, we're going to do some channeling work. Usually we do that on Zoom with Heather, but Heather's not available. So I'm going to do this as a YouTube live rather than a Zoom live. I mean, the Zoom lives get uploaded to YouTube anyway, but you guys can join us live at 7 tomorrow, and we'll do an energy transmission specifically for the energies of this new moon. And for those of you that don't know, I work with a group. I call them the master teachers. They're basically, energetic beings of light and love, and they're able to work through channels like myself and do energetic channels and affect our frequency. So what's happening, and that's part of what's going on in this new moon and what's been going on for the last decade or so, or even longer, as that the energies keep getting stronger, the frequencies keep getting higher. And as a result, our physical bodies, our emotional and mental bodies struggle to keep up. And we have lots of ups and downs because of that. We have these ascension symptoms that happen as our bodies are changing and our minds are changing, our perspectives are changing. And it's an awakening, but there's a lot of resistance to the awakening. So there always has been, but it's been stepped up a notch. So there's a war on spirituality, on consciousness that's being waged by those that want everybody to be asleep so that they can have control over us. So when we awaken, we take back our control, we take back our power, we take back our sovereignty, and that changes everything. So for every person that awakens, that adds to the collective. And I've heard anywhere from 1% to 3%, but whatever the specifics are, once a certain amount of people awaken, it's going to get a lot easier for everybody to awaken. And that's when you're going to start to see enlightened politicians and things like that. We see that in very, very rare snippets now. So it's all going to be changing over the next several years, as it has been changing. And it's all going to be changing in a way that there's going to be a lot of clashing and a lot of struggles. It's going to be like a tower experience where the old structures that don't work anymore, that never really did work, have to fall in order for new, more enlightened structures to be built in their places. That could be new facets of government, new facets of education, of medicine, and all that stuff. So it's a difficult time, but it's an amazing time to be alive. So that's basically what's going on. So thanks, Doreen, for validating you're not having problems with Patreon. Good. So specifically, the new moon, it happens 11:23 here in the east coast of the good old United States at 5:57 p.m. Like I said, if you go east of Europe, it's the morning of the 24th. When the moon is new, it's happening 1 degree, 38 minutes of Sagittarius. 1 degree Sagittarius is very significant. I'll explain why in a second. Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius, is stationing. In fact, it goes direct at 6:02. That's only 4 minutes difference between when when we're at the peak of the new moon, right at that moment, and when Jupiter is exactly stationed. When a planet is stationed, it's more powerful. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be huge this month, which is a good thing, actually. Jupiter also is going to trine this new moon, which means it's trining the sun also, because a new moon is a sun-moon conjunction. And I even wrote down the degrees. Jupiter's at 28 degrees Pisces. The new moon is at 1 degree Sagittarius. Now, in astrology, some astrologers may not consider that a trine because they're not in trining signs. Just to put that out there. But degree-wise, they are. A trine is 120 degrees. They're going to be 122 degrees off. So that's a trine. And Mercury and Venus are also conjuncting in Sagittarius. So I talked about, and if you saw my promos for this event, I talked about how Sag season is really not coming in with a gentle flow, but it's coming in with a hammer. And we had Mercury and Venus move into Sagittarius just a couple of days ago, and they're currently conjuncting in the very early degrees of Sagittarius. Well, right now they're 10 degrees and 9 degrees respectively, but these are planets that move quickly through the zodiac. So they went into Sagittarius first, and then the sun went into Sagittarius today. I apologize, I don't have the exact time that happened. And now the moon is also going into Sagittarius, and at 1 degree tomorrow. So it's going to go into Sagittarius tomorrow and be a new moon. Now, Neptune is still squaring Mars. They've been squaring on and off for, it seems like, forever. Neptune at 22 degrees Pisces, Mars at 21 degrees Gemini. That's significant because Mars is retrograde, and that's very significant. Saturn is squaring Uranus. That's been happening since late summer, but they were also squaring, those two bodies were squaring around the new year also. So, as Saturn, goes retrograde, then it comes back direct, we get several hits on that. And what else? Yes. And in numerology, it's a 22 universal day. That's 11:23. Now, for the folks that are having 24, it's a 23 universal day. But 22, it's interesting because it's a master number and it's Uranus ruled. So, anyways, so Mars is retrograde. Now, I wanted to talk a second about the degrees, because 1 degree is the sun. 1 is the sun, and the sun is going to be, the new moon is going to be 1 degree Sagittarius. So the sun's energy is very, very strong. It's part of the template I was talking about. So anyway, I'll as I move on to these different things, I'll explain a little bit more. So first and foremost, all new moons are good for new beginnings. They're good for manifestation. This new moon in particular is about beginnings and endings both. And the reason for that, it's ideal for manifestation work. Now, all new moons are new beginnings. 1 degree, number 1, is also about new beginnings. So this has a special quality. During the late autumn and winter months, several of the new moons are going to line up at 1 degree of their sign. I don't know the exact numbers, but that happens in the winter times. So Jupiter station going direct. That's also about new beginnings, because it's starting a new forward cycle. The number 22 represents both beginnings and endings. And in tarot, and also in Chaldean numerology, I don't think I wrote down the Chaldean symbol, but it very much aligns with the Fool card. And it's basically in the Chaldean numerology, it's like the man suffering at the follies of others. Basically, it's sort of the symbol of that. But the Fool is the beginning and the end. So in the spiritual path, the right now is both the beginning and the end of that path. So this is teaching us about the circle with no circumference. That's what the universe is. It's an ever-changing flow of energy, and energy is never lost or gained. It's only transformed. So 22 is a very powerful master number, and it reduces to a 4. So it's Uranus ruled. Uranus is very higher mind, it's higher conscious, but also very revolutionary. So this is a good moon to learn about the cycles of life, basically. Now, let me see. I rely a lot on my notes. So what's happening also is that a lot of the shadow aspects that we got to really dive into during the Scorpio season begin to reveal themselves more in Sagittarius. So in other words, with Scorpio, we're coming out of that season, very powerful energy. You have Scorpio energy is amazing. It's very laser beam. It's psychic. It's very connected to spirit. And it tends to allow us to see the depths of things, like the depths of our own problems and challenges in life, for example. But it tends to stay hidden. It's a secretive thing. So when we come to Sagittarius, that's the bow and arrow. That's the straight shooter. These things start to come out into light. So this is really good to do that shadow work that I talk about all the time, shadow work integration. And so we had a good month to sit with our shadows. Now it's time to shine the light of awareness on them. Because when you shine light on a shadow, it's no longer a shadow. That's the mystery. That's the secret of the shadows. Shadows, you can look at that as the Jungian definition, shamanistic definition, the parts of ourselves that we don't see, yet they control our lives, and usually in a negative way. So when we shine the light of awareness on that, then we integrate those shadows. They become our strength. They're no longer a hidden part of ourselves that's sabotaging our lives. They become part of our power and part of of something we can use to create our lives consciously and create our realities. So that's that. So this is ideal for both beginnings and endings. So if you need to end a relationship, a connection, a job, or whatever, this is a good new moon for it, but it's also good for your manifestation work. So definitely, on the new moon, tomorrow, and the next several days after, if you like to light candles or do law of attraction work or stuff like that, good time to do that. So number 2 is what was stuck in our lives starts to move under this energy. It's been very stagnant, although it's been very frenetic energy, during Libra season and Scorpio season both, and even back in Leo season. Sagittarius energy is very straightforward. There's no beating around the bush. There's no double talk. It's all straightforward. So this is the time. If you can identify things that are stuck in your life, this is the time. This new moon and the period that follows it, this is the time to work on that, to get unstuck. And let me see what else I wrote down. It's about truth, honesty, travel, spirituality. These are all Sagittarian energies. And law of attraction work can be augmented with strong Sagittarius vibes. So again, that's that straight shooter energy, that directness, and that Jupiterian energy. Remember, Jupiter's station, and it's 1 degree. It's new beginning. It's ultimate time for manifestation. So this is the time to get anything that's been stuck in your life, whether it's inner things or things going on the outside, to get that moving. So that's number 2. Number 3 is more water. No, that's not what it is. But more truth surface. That's what I wrote down. That's, again, Sagittarian energy. And all the other stuff that's going on with the Jupiter trining the moon and Jupiter being stationed, that makes it even more Sagittarian. So we're structures continue to fall, changes in politics. So, we're in that volatile time. You expect the unexpected. Also, it's the USA Pluto return that's active till through 2024. Uranus is at 16 degrees squaring Saturn, 16 degrees Taurus. Taurus is security. Also, Pluto's in the USA second house. So Saturn's 19 degrees Aquarius. Aquarius is Uranus's ruling sign. So Saturn's about the structures. Uranus doesn't like structure. Uranus wants to blow it all up and wants to be free thinking and free flowing. So all this energy is really culminating, this month, December, during this whole season. So, and I think there's another direct hit on the Pluto return. Pluto goes slowly, and I don't want to get too bogged down into that. But anyway, this energy is going to help to catalyze more truths, things that may be conspiracy theories that turn out to be conspiracy facts, or maybe just the opposite. It's something that's a conspiracy theory turns out to be utter garbage. But the bottom line is, when there's no transparency and we sense an agenda, we're going to try to figure out what's going on. The governments are not transparent with us. It's kind of like this is going on, you must do this, there's a virus, you have to wear your mask, you have to be inside, you have to take an experimental medication or whatever. But we don't get any information, and rather than that, we get like trust the science, but science says it takes 8 to 11 years to validate a safe vaccination's long-term safety. They were giving us 11 months. So there's those kind of inconsistencies. But if instead the governments or the medical, the media, all of that, they were telling, well, we don't really know what's going on. We're doing the best we can. We may not be perfect. That's what we recommend. And if they were really more transparent, there wouldn't be so much second guessing. There wouldn't be all these conspiracy theories. But, that said, there may be a very good reason that the powers that be hide things from us, and they may all be very valid. So Trump saga 2024, I wrote down, constant changes, the Bidens, the wars, watch Hillary Clinton, because I was just meditating several days ago, and she popped into my mind for last person I would think about, honestly. And I'm wondering if she's getting ill, or if she or her husband may pass on even. But there may be something that comes up with the Clintons, or maybe scandals that come to the surface. There's a lot beneath the surface. We know through factual information, through texts like the Noriega papers comes to mind. We know that the government does things covertly and covers them up, and there's documented proof of that. So these are all things to watch, like what's going to come to this surface, like what's real and what's maybe a little bit exaggerated with what people suspect, or what's coming through other channels. So what else we say? Watch Hillary. Scorpio season explores but maintains secrets. Sagittarius exposes them, possibly on a grand scale. We'll see, but this Sagittarius season, it could carry over into Capricorn season. we may get a few whoppers of news coming in. So the fourth thing to know about this new moon is you cannot stay small. So it's comfortable to be small. Coming on YouTube when Spirit told me to do this in 2019, I told them you were crazy. It's like I'm not that person that's going to be leading large people and being a thought leader. At least that's what I thought. But what am I doing, right? So I got the memo. It's you just can't stay small. What is Marianne Williamson's quote? It's not being powerless that you fear, it's being powerful beyond measure. Because when we're powerful, we're under scrutiny. We become targets, and it carries a lot of responsibility. So we have to learn to be okay with that. You are not here watching me do this live stream if you did not sign up to make a difference in this world. End of story. No way, because you wouldn't be attracted to this work. You wouldn't be attracted to me, what I'm doing. So this is it. So speak up more. Let your powerful light shine through. I went through decades, almost 6 of them, diminishing my light simply because I had an insanely jealous older brother, and I learned to be in the background so that I didn't get all that negative energy. And that became one of my shadows. And it took me decades to realize it and to start to clear it. I am pretty confident now in my delivery and what I'm doing. Just a year ago, it wasn't quite as much. So, this is it. So let your powerful light shine through. This moon transforms deep ideas into plausible action. So that's part of the power of this new moon. So you're going to start to access more of your deeper ideas and start to get, messages of how to act on them, especially if you're asking Spirit, if you're opening your heart, opening your mind. So the fifth thing to know, divide and conquer reaches new heights. And we must choose our community alliances now. And I've been saying this for at least 6 months, but now's really the time. Mars is retrograde. It's squaring Neptune. Neptune and Mars don't get along. Mars is energy. Neptune is very watery. It's very wishy-washy, but it's also very psychic. And it can teach us about illusions and delusions. So remember, war on consciousness. Now, Mars is in retrograde in Gemini, the sign of duality. It's going to be there till early January. And it's going to be in Gemini, I think, till March or April or May. I don't remember. But this is it. So what do we mean? Divide and conquer reaches new heights. It's just the pressures of government. It's the same old. It's just more and more. Maybe they want to control us even further. Maybe they want us to become transhuman. Whatever it is. That there's definitely been that agenda. That's been a big part of politics. 2016 on, it really was in our face, just for obvious reasons. Whether you love Donald Trump or hate him or whatever it is, we have to acknowledge that he's an important player in history and is a catalyst for big changes in this world. So that's that. And the sixth thing that I wrote down is high solar activity. And we're seeing that happening, but I think we're going to have a lot of these solar storms, these solar flares. Now with solar flares comes light code activation. It comes solar light codes. There's neutrinos that are emitted. There's gamma rays. There's all sorts of things that affect the energies on Earth and affects the energies of our auras and stuff like that. Now, a lot of people are going to be getting, more ascension symptoms. Sometimes ascension symptoms are not ascension anymore, or an ascension. Sometimes it's reaction to electromagnetic frequencies like 5G or Wi-Fi signals or pollution or stuff like that. They want to be clear what the source of any symptoms are, but just ascension, just the energy shifting and our cells and our nervous system needing to keep up with that, and our etheric bodies needing to keep up with that, causes some physical discomfort, some mental or emotional discomforts. Try to stay in your heart, stay in your center, stay in your power. And that's how you'll benefit from the downloads from the sun, which is really, messages from the central sun or the spiritual sun that's manifest physically through our physical sun. and then it comes to us in the form of like what do they call, like mass coronal ejections and spikes in radiation. So do your activation. We do activations here on Spirit Mind Family. We go deeper into those activations. I will definitely leave a link if you want to check out the our Patreon group, also our inner core. But we do this on YouTube also, usually just on the full moons. It's except when there's events like the new moon, we're going to do one. Then on Thanksgiving, we're going to do a gratitude transmission at 1 o'clock on Thanksgiving also. So with all that in mind, let's see. There's a couple of processes or things that Spirit was recommending that we do this month. And so I'm just peeking at your comments for a second because I've been yes, thank you for everything you guys are saying. Thank you so much. All right, so exercise number 1, meditation, visualizing the central sun expressed through the physical sun. So in other words, anytime we meditate, we want to get mindful. Like I'm very much into the very basic practice of meditation. Be aware of your breath, clear your mind, and be aware, be present. Presence is the key to everything. And when we meditate, we go even deeper into our presence. So when you get there, what you want to do is visualize like a disk of the sun, like visualize that the sun, like the central sun, shine through the physical sun, and place the energy of the sun in your heart center, and feel the expansion through your heart, and feel it expanding through your chakras, feel it activating your brain, like heart-brain coherence. We talk about that all the time here. So we make the heart coherent, that brings the brain into coherence, and we become coherent with spirit. So bring it through all the chakras, activating the heart, brain, and spirit trinity. That's how I wrote it down. So it's kind of the divine trinity, in Christianity, it's Father, Son, Holy Spirit. In the matriarchal religions like Wicca, it's Mother, Maiden, and Crone. But it's also the heart, the mind, and spirit. That's the divine trinity that we work with every day. But we're programmed and conditioned to separate our heart from our mind. And that's why most people have so many problems. When we start to reintegrate them, then we start to reawaken our superhuman powers, because we start to blend with spirit as we blend the heart and the brain frequency together. So you get nice and relaxed. Just feel the disk of the sun in your heart. Feel it expanding through your body. Feel it activating your brain. Feel it expanding through your aura. And just sit with that and do that as a part of a daily meditation. That's what Spirit was recommending. The second thing they said is to do some remote viewing or astral traveling. Sagittarius moves. Sagittarius is a travel sign. So this is a great energy to learn how to do things like that. Now, I used to teach the children. I'll be doing more children's work again, but I've had different psychic children's groups that I've worked with through the years. And I get the kids in the meditation. I get them to ride a unicorn, and I get them to go back to their house, and I get them to look in the rooms and see what their parents are doing. And a lot of times they get it right. So the idea, when you want to remote views, you get an idea of where you want to go. It could be to your home, it could be to somebody else's home. Although I'm not an advocate, nor do I recommend psychic spying, just to put that out there. But you can do it. That's the way that you can do it. But just as an exercise, like they train government agents to do remote viewing, which is more proof that psychic phenomenon is real, because they spent millions of dollars researching it. And they would basically go to the Russian missile bases and be able to get sensitive material that way. But it's a good exercise. Or when you do astral travel, basically your spirit leaves your body, and if you do that consciously, you have to really get super present, and you have to be okay with the discomfort, because when the spirit starts to move from the body, you get this, at least that's what's happened to me. It's like sleep paralysis. You get this violent shaking, and then there's a dislodging effect at least that's in my experience. So it's good to work with these kind of things. You can go to the moon, or go to Arcturus, or the Pleiades. You can do astral travel, like if you're a starseed, you can do it that way also. So you pick an area, just travel. This is part of developing your whole brain. It's part of developing your spirit also. So there's that. New spiritual source. This number 4, spiritual source or teacher or practice. They're suggesting to find a new practice or a new teacher, or a new something when it comes to your spiritual path. It's such good energy for that Sagittarius. Uranus and Aquarius is very active and all that stuff. So the number 4, they're saying, do more writing exercises for your law of attraction work. They recommend to you to do scripting exercises or other forms of writing. So what is law of attraction or manifestation using law of attraction might be more accurate way of saying that. It's basically the ability to manifest you using the universal law, and the law of attraction is a universal law that like attracts like. So when you become the vibration of something, then you start to attract it into your life. First in the quantum level, and whatever happens on a quantum or subatomic level or an energetic level, sooner or later is going to happen on the physical level also. So we do with scripting, it's just like doing a journal, and you do journal entries as if your dream is already manifest. Like if you want to manifest your soulmate or twin flame, like if I wanted to do that, I would write in my journal, yeah, me and my darling, we went to the beach and we were holding hand and we saw a dolphin, and you just let it rip and just feel like it's already happening. And any law of attraction work, it's energetic, it's feeling, feeling emotions and energy emotion. And if you can be the frequency, if you can feel like something's real and be grateful for it before it happens, you actually set the wheels in motion energetically to create that in your life. So in Sagittarius energy, this would be true of Gemini also. Writing and communication hold extra power. So when you write, what do? You take energy, which is your thoughts or desires, and you turn it into tangible form. Those are the words. So that's exactly what you do in the law of attraction. So that's why it's powerful also. So number 5, they said double down on heart-brain coherence. Okay, yes, I have videos on that. The idea is if you can hold magnified compassion and gratitude in your heart and allow it to activate your brain, then you tap into your superhuman abilities, and you tap into spirit. And I'm not going to go through the steps now. I'll post a video or two when this becomes a video in the comments. So if you want to learn more about the practice, you can also look up Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, or Heart Math Institute. And regardless, whatever you think of some of the bad press that Heart Math has gotten, the practice and the science behind it is still quite amazing, just to put that out there. So I know that there's been some, I don't know if it's true or not, but I know that there's been some bad press there. So number 6 is take care of body, exercise. Sagittarius is a fire sign. We want to move our bodies. And they also said to do some sun gazing, or to try to get some sun, in the morning, if you can stand out. And I mean, I don't want to recommend people staring directly into the sun. I mean, I've done it before, although I used to do a lot of sun gazing. I have to say, in my early 60s, I needed cataract surgery. So, staring directly in the sun may or may not be the best idea. But often what I do is I'll let the light come into my eyes, even if I'm not looking directly at it. If the sun is low on the horizon, where the UV rays are literally nil, then it's fine, by the way. But believe it or not, they talk about the UV in the sun, but according to what I've researched about that, people tend to lose their sight more with the sheer brightness of staring in the sun than the ultraviolet light burning out their retinas. But still, it's not a good idea to get a lot of UVs in your eyes. So anyway, but do your sun gazing, however you do that. And number 7 said do energy transmission for light code activation. Well, we'll do that tomorrow here. And there's other channels that do light code activations. So before I finish up, I wanted to I have my sacred geometry card. I wanted to ask Spirit to give us some message about that also. Susan, oh, that's okay, Susan. You can catch up with this last part later. Thank you though. Silver White, thank you. So, Krista knows, what I went through growing up and how I dimmed my light so much. But it's a blessing. I learned things that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. So, we can't hold on to any, resentment or negativity. We have to be, in the heart center and be in the frequency of gratitude and love always. It's okay to be angry, because that's a normal human reaction. It's okay to call people on things and to understand if something's wrong. But we have to, when we allow ourselves to go into like any victim mentality, like my older brother was so jealous, he ruined my life or whatever. If I go into that mindset, it's like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like nobody ruined my life. This is what I was meant to experience in order for me to grow into the person that I am and the person that I'm going to be, basically. So on that note, this is the card they wanted to pull. Here's I got. So let's see if we can hold this up. Perception. So the idea is to really kind of gaze in the sacred geometry and absorb it and let it just be part of you. But there's also a message here. And that message is the frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. Perfect, because Sagittarius is very perceptive and it always wants the truth. Sagittarius energy is not compromised. It doesn't. That's why doesn't really necessarily get along too well with certain planets. But but Sagittarius wants the truth. It wants directness. It wants straightforwardness. It doesn't go for BS. And so that's a good message. So perception, and perception is basically, what's it? It's like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, so to speak. If I took my glasses off and I put on yellow glasses, the whole world would look different to me. My perception would change based on the lens I'm looking out of. So our perception of the world is very much colored by our upbringing, by our programming, by our belief system, which are usually other people's belief systems bought to us or programmed into us. So if you work with this, you can start to clear that and really start to gain the perception of your heart and your spirit rather than the egoic programmed mind. So that's where that So Sissy's asking when is the new moon activated? So it is 7:00 Eastern time on the 23rd tomorrow. So I think that would be what it'd be. I think it would be your afternoon on Thursday then. So a lot of people are vibing on that. So anyway, so there's that, and I also have my messages from the angel cards. I think the other message, the reason I picked that is that we're going to have higher perceptibility. So the more you can perceive from the heart, the more real it's going to be, and the more you're going to perceive also. Okay. Da-da-da. Breaking my card up, clearing my mind, cause when we're thinking, we're not connecting. When we're connecting, we're not thinking. So I need to stop thinking. Done. Serene. Oh, I like this one. Beautiful energy there. So that's Serena. Sometimes just the images, there's a lot of lavender, violet colors. That's very protective. I'm the angel of abundance. You will see the money yes, bring on that money. You will see the money you need, and God is in charge of how that will happen. Have faith. So we're faced with a lot of economic uncertainty. That's a big part of this whole like tower experience. I didn't even get to talk much about that 16-degree element of who's in 16 degree. It doesn't matter, but anyway, the point being is that trust. You are, if you become abundant in heart. Money is just a physical counterpart to the energy of abundance. You start to create more money in your life. Money does exist in unlimited quantity, so that could be a little bit of a frustrating statement for people that really, are down on their luck, or really just, in their lives haven't really been given a chance. So, everything being relative, certainly, but anybody can learn how to tap into that abundance principle and learn to clear the old programming, the old upbringing, and even, things like illness and homelessness and destitute. All that can be changed and cleared through consciousness and through the heart, and really feel like you're abundant already, because you are. And again, you can do, again. So, I'm getting a little repetitive. I think it's time for me to sign off, but have faith. And especially if you're going through financial ups and downs in this very uncertain time, and that'll help things around. So, oh, interesting. So Serena is saying hi, Teresa. Very good. You get Serena a lot. Well, good. Maybe that's for me then. I've definitely been working on it. In a few weeks, I'll do another money video. I haven't done one of those for a while, but I'll share how I was able to manifest $10,000 in 2 weeks. Above my income, which is the exact amount that I was looking for at that time. I was shooting for a month. It happened in 2 weeks from two very unlikely and crazy sources. I'm going to share that with you next week. Oh, no, this week is Thanksgiving. No upload. We're going to do a Thanksgiving transmission for gratitude for the heart. That's going to be, so we have two transmissions, Wednesday at 7 and Thursday at 1 Eastern time. So that's what's coming up. All right. So I know I was aiming for a half hour. We're on 40 minutes. So I apologize for that, but a lot to talk about, and hopefully that's helpful for you guys. And thanks for being here. I love you, and we'll see you next time.